Welcome to Content and Conversations, the podcast for entrepreneurs and business owners that want to prioritize connection and relationship as the primary tool to drive sales. Content and conversations are the two most powerful tools you have to attract the most amazing clients, build solid relationships, and sell more stuff. From sales, marketing, energy, and mindset, we'll discuss everything you need to hit your goals, make more money, and have more fun in your business. Let's go. Hello, and welcome back to Content and Conversations. I am so excited. This is our first episode of 2024, or the first episode that I'm recording inside of 2024. So I have all of this amazing and exciting new year energy, and I'm really excited to talk to you today about sales messaging. This is something that I think is mission critical for businesses going into 2024, especially those businesses that are leveraging social media as their primary sales tool, right? So sales messaging is really important for anybody and everybody. I believe that. But if you are leveraging social media content as a primary way to find people, create an audience, create community, and convert, sales messaging is more important than ever. And so I wanted to break down kind of what it is and how the different things that really should go into developing what your sales messaging should be. So what we do inside of the Connection Agency is we use a sales messaging framework called the Sales Experience. And it really breaks down your messaging for every offer that you have in your offer suite. So if you're a business that has multiple offers, you would have multiple sales experiences. If you're a business that has one offer, you would have one sales experience. But it really is like, how do we take people from the bottom of the funnel, the middle of the funnel, the top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, the bottom of the funnel? How do we speak to them, right? So sales messaging, by definition, according to our friends at Google, or, in a quick Google search, is how you talk about your products and services to your prospects, right? How do you talk about your products or services to your prospects? And you're like, well, duh, Ryan, I knew that. I know. But the problem is that most people, unfortunately, and I'm just going to say this with as much love as I can, are not good at this. Like, go scroll through your Facebook feed, your Instagram feed, your LinkedIn feed. Most people suck at talking about what they do in a way that actually communicates value, in a way that actually activates people wanting to buy it, right? So a lot of us can talk about what we do until we are blue in the face, right? You are, no questions asked, a subject matter expert at what you do. Like, I believe that. I know that to be true for you. I think that's amazing, right? But that doesn't mean that just because you are an expert and you know it inside and out and you are so fucking good at it, doesn't mean that you know how to talk about your products and services to your prospects. And in fact, I find that some people wind up so close to their area of expertise, right? They wind up so close to it and so in the weeds with it that it's actually really hard for people to determine and develop their own sales messaging, not because of lack of expertise or even not being good at marketing. It's just sometimes we get so close to things and we don't realize what other people don't know about what we do. Right. And I'm super guilty of this as well. So like, when it talks about sales messaging, this is one of the things that I'm realizing going into 2024 is that I have a tendency to use buzzwords or to make assumptions. And again, it's just because I am an expert at what I do. I do it all day, every day. I talk to clients about it all day, every day. I talk to my team about it all day, every day. I'm creating content about it all day, every day, right? But sometimes when we do that, we are so darn close to something that we're unable to tell a story in a compelling way that people are going to actually think, ooh, I want to buy that thing, right? So I'm going to walk you through 5 different things are really what I've identified here. I could probably go on for days, but when I was brainstorming this, I was like, let's start with these 5. Maybe we'll do a part 2 later on. But really, what are the 5 things that go into or should be a part of your sales messaging strategy? So the first things first is the understanding of the symptoms of the problem that your ideal client has. So being able to talk about the symptoms, and I'm sure that I've talked about this before, I talk about it a lot, but Jim Fortin, who is somebody, his podcast I've been like up to my eyeballs in lately, always talks about repetition is the mother of all learning. So I'm going to repeat this for you, but what are the symptoms of the problem? Because oftentimes people may know that they have a problem. They may know that they want to make more money. They may know that they want to lose weight. They may know that they want to be in a better relationship, right? But they don't necessarily realize what all the symptoms of that problem are, right? So they may know the overarching problem, but what are some symptoms? So I'm going to give you a specific example. So if your desire is to make more money in your business, right? That's the problem that we solve, right? Like, we help our clients make more money. Right? That's it. But if all I ever talked about was making more money and making more money and making more money, and I didn't talk about the symptoms of the problem as to why you're not making as much money as you want, I would A, probably not be attracting right fit clients, and B, be missing out on a major segment of the market that doesn't necessarily think that making more money is the answer, right? So I have to talk about what are the symptoms of somebody who is marketing and marketing and marketing and not getting any results, right? Like that is a symptom of somebody who has a broken sales and marketing system. That is our big thing, is sales and marketing systems. Sales and marketing system isn't actually a word that I do clients probably use, right? And I use it in my messaging a lot, and I need to change that, right? But the symptom of a broken sales and marketing system is the fact that you are posting consistently to social media and not signing clients. It's not yielding results for you. That is a symptom of the problem that our clients have, right? The problem is they don't have a sales and marketing system. The problem is they're not making as much money as they would like, but a symptom is you are posting to social media and it's not converting to clients, right? So I hope you can kind of see the difference between those two things, because again, a sales and marketing system, that's a word I use. In fact, it's probably should be an internal word, because nobody woke up this morning and was like, I want a sales and marketing system, right? What you woke up this morning thinking was, damn, I am so effing tired of creating all of this content and it's not getting me anywhere. And I'm wasting so much time and it's not getting me any traction, right? So that's what I mean by symptoms, right? Or, I am getting people reaching out to me, but they're not the right people. To me, that means that you have your sales messaging is off, right? So if people are reaching out to you, but they're not the right people. So again, that's another symptom of the problem is I'm getting people to reach out to me, or I'm booking sales calls, but nobody can afford my services, right? That is a symptom of having a broken sales and marketing system, right? So it's really understanding what are the symptoms of whatever the problem is and being able to speak to those symptoms. That is when people are telling you, oh my God, were you talking to me? Was that last podcast you made about me? Was that last post about me? Oh my God, yes, that's totally me. You're like speaking directly to me, right? Like that's what you want people thinking when they see your content, whether it is in a video or it's written or it's an email or it's a podcast. You want them thinking, holy shit, right? She is inside of my head. Like that is what you want people thinking. And so when you can talk about those symptoms that they're having that are, again, just pieces of a much larger problem, you're going to get a way better result, right? The second thing that I really want you to think about, and as it relates to your sales messaging, is what makes you different. I don't believe in market saturation. I don't believe that there is ever a point in time where there is not enough business for all of us, right? Like I very much believe in abundance. The sky is the limit. There is much money to be made as we possibly want to make. Like I believe that in my heart of hearts, right? So why do I hire one bookkeeper over another? Why do I go to one salon over another? Why do I choose one coach over another? Why do I go to one gym over another, right? What makes you different? What makes you different than other people who are maybe saying or doing the same things, who actually have solutions for the same symptoms, right? And so being able to talk about what makes you different, I think is really important in your sales messaging. Because again, if I'm somebody who is consuming a lot of content about what you do, right? And everybody sounds like they're saying the same thing. Why am I going to make a choice? And some of it's connection, some of it's relationship, for sure. But another thing is what makes you different. So one of the things that I talk about for us as an agency is the fact that I have 15 years of corporate sales experience. I have literally sat in front of thousands of people in my career and talked to them about marketing and selling their business. That makes me different. I have real life experience, not just running my own business, not just reading a book, not just studying, but like a real life experience doing this for people. And I know both sales and marketing, right? I was a salesperson and I was selling marketing services, right? So I am different because I know that, right? There are plenty of marketers out there that will tell you, I'm not a salesperson. And I don't know about you, but I don't want a marketer who's telling me that they're not a salesperson, because all the marketing in the world is not going to put money in my bank, right? I need marketing that leads to sales. And so that is what I find our differentiator is, right? And there's plenty of others, but I'm just giving you examples of me actually being both a salesperson and a marketer. Means that when we work with our clients, we're actually going to put money in the bank. We're not just going to create content. We're not just going to theorize. We're not just going to plan. We're not just going to create shit, right? We're actually going to put money in the bank. To me, that is something that sets us apart. So what is that for you? What is that thing that somebody isn't going to get from everybody else who does what you do? And this is somewhat like, have you ever heard them talk about like throw rocks at, right? Like this is something to throw rocks at. I throw rocks at this a lot. Like I joke, I'm not a business coach taught by a business coach taught by a business coach, right? I have a friggin' MBA, for crying out loud. Like I had an entire career before I became an online entrepreneur. So I was bringing decades of experience into what I do for my clients now. So think about that. What story do you have that you can tell that can really say, hey, this is why I'm different than everybody else who does what I do. And this is why you want to work with me versus everybody else. So this isn't about being catty. This isn't about, beating out the competition. This is just genuinely quelling somebody's question. Like they're thinking it in their head, right? So you don't have to say, hey, here's why I'm better than all the competition. You just have to say, hey, listen, as somebody with X years of experience, as somebody who's gone through this their own, as somebody who's had great results from the work that I provide, this is why, so you don't necessarily have to point fingers. You don't necessarily have to be argumentative or negative in any way, shape, or form, but you can find a way to tell your story in a way that people are like, oh, this person has this XYZ experience, which makes buying from them different than that person down the street, right? The third thing that you really want to think about in your sales messaging is what other things has your ideal client tried to get the result that you provide. This is very, very important because this this dictates how you tell stories. So I'm going to give you a specific example. In my first business, we worked with brand new business owners, right? So our ideal client was a woman who was leaving her 9 to 5 and wanted to build a business, right? Needed to replace her salary from work in order to do that. So one of the things that we very quickly learned is that our very best clients were actually the clients who had invested in maybe a course or another program. They tried some other things. We were very infrequently other people, like people's first investment. So we knew that they had made previous investments. And so in our marketing, in our messaging, in our sales conversation, in our pitch, on our sales page, we could talk about, I know that you have tried all of these other things and they did not work for you, right? Because what I've done is I've taken away the, well, I've tried all, because we think that. We think that as humans, like, well, I've tried all this other shit and it didn't work. Why is this situation going to be different? So in me being able to say, hey, listen, I know that you have tried all of these things. I know this, and I know how tired you are, and I know how frustrated you are, and I know how over this you are. This is why we're going to help you. Being able to tell that story and have that level of certainty definitely makes a huge difference in how people are responding to your marketing and to your messaging, right? So when you can say, listen, I know you have tried everything under the sun, but on the flip side, maybe you're someone where your ideal client is brand new to what it is that you do. And you're like, listen, I know that this is brand new to you. I know that you've never tried this before. I know that this might be something, your friends and family are going to think you're crazy for trying this because it's so outlandish and it's so wild, right? But really helping them know that, like, I see you, I get you, I understand you, and our other clients are in the same boat helps people feel like, okay, I'm not alone in not knowing a lot about this, or I'm not alone in having tried everything under the sun and not getting a result. But when we can talk about very clearly what other things they have tried and why those other things have not been what they needed in that moment, it helps us build credibility and it helps them build confidence in themselves, right? One of the types of content, we have an entire podcast, if you go back to the beginning, called the 3 types of content you need to be creating. One of those pieces of content we call belief shifting content, right? Belief shifting content is what beliefs do people have about themselves and what beliefs do they have about what you sell that is keeping them from pulling the trigger, right? Keeping them from reaching out to you, keeping them from buying whatever it is that you're selling, right? But when you can really help them shift their belief to the idea that this is going to be different, or this is why this is the right solution for you, because these are all the other things that you've tried. Our other clients have been in a very similar boat, or I was in a very similar boat and I did these things and here's the result that I got, right? It's going to help them feel better about making a buying decision instead of, oh, I'm just going to invest in this thing again and I'm just not going to get the results that I desire again. So when we can talk about what are the other things that they have tried and we can weave that into our storytelling, it's really going to help them build that trust and also build trust and confidence in themselves that they're going to get what they need by working with you. So the fourth thing that goes into your sales messaging is what's in it for them. And I know that this feels so obvious, but again, go for a scroll through Facebook or LinkedIn, where a lot of people want to tell you how effing amazing they are and how good they are and all the other things, but they don't want to say, this is what's in it for you. When you partner with us, when you buy this program, when you do this thing, this is how your life is going to change, right? We like to tell people a lot, this is why you should buy from me. And I'm good at this. I'm really good at this is why you should buy from me content. Sometimes I forget to talk about, this is what's in it for you. Like when you are a client of our agency, this is what your life gets to look like. This is what improves for you, right? So really thinking about what is in it for them when they buy whatever it is that you were selling. And I don't care if you were selling widgets or, $100,000 solutions. What is in it for them? How does their life get better? How does their business get better? How do their relationships get better? How do their finances get better? What is in it for them in a very clear and succinct way? How do they feel, right? Like what is, what changes for them, right? Because that's our job really as marketers. That's what our sales messaging is meant to do, is tell people this is how your life is going to change, or how your business or your relationship or whatever it is that you sell, right? But when we talk about this is what it looks like on the other side of getting the result that you desire, this is what your life or your business or whatever looks like, then again, it's going to start to create that picture. It's going to start to create hope. It's going to start to create excitement. It's going to start to create that emotional connection that we're looking to create. Right? And then the fifth one that is really important is be clear on who you are speaking to. And I almost didn't include this one because I don't believe in traditional ideas of like the whole niche model, right? Like the riches are in the niches or whatever the case may be. And I believe that to a certain extent, but I don't believe that a niche or a niche or whatever, however you pronounce the word, actually has to be a person from a demographic perspective, right? There's a lot of people that are like, you should map out who your ideal client is. Her name is Susie. She drives a 4Runner. She has 2.5 kids. She lives in the suburbs and she, whatever. I believe that you get clear on the person that you're talking to about the problem that you solve, right? Your niche can be the person who has this problem. So being really clear that if you have this problem, I can help you. And again, we have a tendency to focus too much on the demographic. And demographics, again, they can play into it. It's not necessary. I think I can make a case for either one. And I do think it varies business by business. I also think it varies where you are in your business and your intentions for your business. Meaning, I'll give you a specific example. Again, there's a guy that I follow on social media. His name is Damon Burton. We were in the Inner Circle together when I did Russell Brunson's Inner Circle. Really super nice dude, right? SEO is his jam. SEO is his jam. He just posted on social media, which is really what made me think about adding this to this podcast, was this idea that he has made millions and millions of dollars selling SEO services to all sorts of different industries, right? So like literally dozens of different industries that this guy has served. But what they all want is more organic content, right? They want more buyers that have intent to buy. So because of that, he is able to very clearly market and talk to people who want XYZ result. So he's not talking like, hey, I'm just talking to software companies or I'm just talking to garage door companies. He's talking to anybody who wants to get more traffic from Google because his niche is SEO. His niche is in his service that he provides, not necessarily in the person that he's serving. But oftentimes we're not clear on that. And again, I can tell that simply by scrolling through social media that most people aren't clear either on the person, whether you want to lean on the demographic side, or you're not clear on what is that problem? Like, what is that thing? Who are you talking to? Right? So for me, like when we talk to people from an agency perspective, we are talking to people who do not love sales and marketing, right? That's literally our ideal client who they don't love it. They don't love it. They don't feel like they're good at it. They feel like I didn't start a business to be a marketer. I didn't start a business to be a salesperson. I don't know all this stuff. Like that's who our person is. Or, I guess on the flip side, you could say it's somebody who knows how to do it, but doesn't want to do it on their own. But that I guess is the same thing. They don't love it. Like our ideal client is a person. We're very clear and we're talking to the people who don't want to do it themselves, who aren't getting the results that they desire for themselves, that they find it overwhelming and they find it exhausting and they find it frustrating and they find they're putting all this effort into something and they're not getting the result that they desire. That is who we're talking to, right? And again, we work with the clients, we work with medical management clients, we work with coaches, we work with marketers, we work with loan officers, we work with, membership communities, all different people, but all of them are people who are like, what I want to do, right, is I want to do what I'm good at. I don't want to do the rest. And I know that. And so I can talk to that. You want to do what you're good at in your business. You don't want to do this thing. We can help. Right? That's what I mean by getting clear on that thing. Because again, most people, when I scroll through social media and I look at their content, I have no effing idea what they do or who they're talking to. And so that means that there's a breakdown in the sales messaging. So quick recap, all 5 things, right? 1, symptoms. Talk to the symptoms of the problem, not just the problem itself. 2, what makes you different? Why are you different from everybody else who does what you do? 3, what other things have you tried? Right? What other things have they tried to fix the problem? Being able to speak to those things builds huge credibility. 3, what's in it for them? What does their life look like on the other side of working with you? And 4, being really clear. Who are you speaking to? Getting clear on that. And again, it doesn't have to be a demographic. So when you master this, when you get good at sales messaging, like I said, in 2024, content creation is not optional, right? We love outbound. I talk a lot about outbound here on the podcast. We're not doing outbound anymore. But what we have seen, what we saw in 2023, that outbound alone is not enough. It used to be back in 2019, like you could just send outbound DMs and post no content, get into enough conversations to build a pretty healthy business. It's just not an option anymore. So the best way in order to take advantage of these free tools that we have to reach people is to get really good at our messaging. And when we're really good at our messaging, we're going to get a much better result. So when we are doing outreach and we are doing all these other things, we get a better result. I hope that helps. Happy New Year. We're so excited that you're part of this community. And And I look forward to talking to you next week. Thank you so much for listening to Content and Conversations. If this was helpful for you, I would love if you would follow along, subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your friends. And we'll see you next week.